This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Alan Llewellyn, chair of the subcommittee, calling us to order at 5:33. As per our recording secretary, we have established quorum and are ready to get going. Item 2 is approval of the minutes from our regular meeting held on June 7th. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Dan Semp.
Thank you, Mr. Semp. There's a second.
Susan Lance.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lance. Are there any corrections, comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 3 is our town council update. Our regular councilman, Ken Poisson, is away, as he usually is this week, celebrating his birthday. I believe our town council business has been light as of the last couple of months, which has been a good thing as we wind down the project and just take care of some punch list items via summer work. Councilman O'Brien, do you have anything to add?
I just know they finally started working on the netting, I guess, on the King Street soccer field.
All right, that's good. That had been planned work to get done this summer, so good to hear that they're making progress on it. All right, so that sounds good. That moves us along to item 4. Under the project financial update, I saw that before a budget had been sent, I was not able to get that attachment. Were other people able to get the budget attachment issued by CREC?
No.
Okay, so we're all missing that item. I will collect that and get that issued to folks via Aileen, hopefully in the next day or two, so that it can get issued as part of the draft minutes for this meeting. This will move us along to item 5, the project closeout updates. Other than being able to report that last sort of change order request that had the bond impact in it, I believe that's all been resolved. Once Turner moves through the summer work that they have now, that should then put them in a position to do final costs with all of their subcontractors. And then I believe once they roll that up, they'll then be able to prepare their final billing, submit it to us, and I believe that's kind of like a centerpiece when the closeout package starts getting presented to the seat. But we should kind of be in position to, have 100% of our total project costs known to us. I would say end of September, October, at the latest. Is anyone from CREC on the line?
Yes, Chris Fields just dialed in. Sorry, I was digging through the email for the access pin.
That's okay, Chris. I was kind of doing the same thing simultaneously, fighting my way through traffic and making sure I had all the numbers in hand.
Yep.
So I don't know if you were on or not, but I don't think anyone got the budget attachment. So just when you get a chance, kind of resend that email out to the whole subcommittee. Make sure that attachment's there, and Aileen will then also get that issued as part of the draft minutes, just so that we're not falling too far behind with our budget update.
I had attached those to the meeting, to the email to everyone. There's an email Eileen put out. I replied to all, and I got a response from Eileen Marsh with the attachment on there for the meeting. So I can resend it.
Well, that's good. No, if Aileen has it, I can just have her issue it and distribute it. She has all of our verified, certified email addresses, so it might work better as an attachment if we just have Aileen forward that out to everybody. Did you catch what I was saying kind of about the overall, project cost and financial closeout? Does it look like, September, October, Turner should have 100% of the known costs in hand, and then we'll be in a position to start working our way through Hartford?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. We were talking August time frame to begin that, but September, October is probably more realistic now. I did talk to Doug, and he had a call with Tim Kleps, and it does seem like it'll be maybe September at the earliest, as opposed to August in previous situations.
Exactly. I think when they had kind of the slip back with the material for the netting and the field related work, I think we kind of probably lost a month there in terms of being able to do final closeout. And, as I reported to everybody, and you've also, backed me up with the supporting piece of it, we don't want to get there too soon and then have Turner have an invoice fall out of the woodwork and we're kind of resubmitting things or revising things. So I kind of like the path we're on.
Okay.
All right, so that kind of covers the project closeout update, Aileen. Please thank you on getting the that budget update out. So item 6, change orders and amendments. Chris, I don't believe we have anything current or pending that needs to be acted on.
No, the big thing from last month was CORO 329, and we handled that. I don't know if the attorney ever got back to anybody on that.
I believe everything kind of cycled through. I don't know if it was John Casey or Chris Temiak who signed the actual change order request, but there was an email thread where that got processed and finalized and moved forward.
Okay.
All right. Anybody have?
I just joined. I'm sorry for running late.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, Bob. Good to see you. So I'll bring us to item 7. Anything to be brought up under new business?
Hey, Alan, just a couple of things. First of all, when do you think we are going to be finished with the subcommittee? When do you anticipate our final meeting?
My kind of thought on that is once we have Turner's 100% bill for the entire project. I talked about this with Ken Poisson kind of on the side. I think at that point we'll just leave the high school as an item under Building Needs Committee. And if there's business to discuss or present or bring up as I'm on Building Needs, I'll just kind of bring it up as part of Building Needs. But I'm thinking September, October will be our final kind of formal subcommittee meeting. I don't see any reason for us to continue after that.
Okay, great. And secondly, I know Renee's on the line right now, and I brought this up at the last Building Needs committee meeting and thought I'd also mention it here to the subcommittee. And it has to do really with some of the damage I've been hearing about at the new school, right? That we just spent a ton of money on. So I think my biggest concern is, as this damage continues and the price of not only repairing, but labor on top of this is just, it just blows my mind that, first of all, is there an accountability for the students that are doing these damages? And, are they paying when we determine that an individual has caused this damage? So I'm getting sideways because, again, we spent a lot of money on that school, and then I hear about the damage, whether it be pulling down of toilets or sinks and graffiti and everything else. I think we need to discuss it on the Building Needs side, but I wanted to bring it up here because I think it's something that the town really needs to address.
Danny, I'd love to jump in. This is Jack, if I may.
Go ahead, Jack.
I'm not sure where you're getting your information from, but we haven't had any sinks that were pulled off the wall. We haven't had any toilets that were pulled off the wall. We have dealt with some graffiti, mainly in the girls' bathroom. But other than during the earlier fall with this ridiculous TikTok challenge of where we lost a paper towel dispenser, that's the only things that happened at Stratford High School. We did have a door and a bathroom damaged, but other than that, there's been no sinks or toilets damaged.
No, Jack, I meant that for other schools and just looking at the school system as a whole and some of the damage and the accountability of these kids that are doing the damage. So I'll bring it up at the Building Needs and we can discuss it a little further.
I could certainly say, though, from my standpoint, again, because we don't have adults in the bathroom, but when we can identify if someone is involved in it, we do issue invoices to the family.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, but I completely understand. I know that it's been a topic all year. But I just want to clarify for this committee that we haven't lost any toilets or sinks or anything like that at Stratford High School.
Great. Thanks, Jack.
Caitlin Shake, the councilwoman for District 2. Jack, I just wanted to thank you for clarifying that because we just had the Public Works meeting. And it's unfortunate that at other schools there is significant vandalism happening, but for this particular project at Stratford High, that fortunately we've only lost a towel dispenser. So thank you.
And
Full disclosure, and a bathroom door was damaged, for full disclosure. But again, that was not vandalism related whatsoever. Like I said, I know that some schools are dealing with it, but knock on wood, so to speak, but we haven't dealt with that at Stratford High.
Okay, thank you.
They must be afraid of you, Jack.
Maybe.
Alan, this is Bill O'Brien. Yeah, we've discussed this quite a bit at Public Works, at the Board of Ed Liaison Committee meeting, and we feel it's something that we have to, Renee and all of us have to sit down with the Board of Ed and figure out ways to address this at the other schools. And I've heard the same thing, that Stratford High is not bad compared to what we're hearing of some of the other schools.
And Bill, I think, and I'll bring it up again, like I said, at the building needs, but I think we need to be represented in that also, obviously, because we're seeing this coming through on open orders, and it seems to be more and more each particular time we get it in a monthly report. So,
and as Renee always tells us, it takes away from other work that needs to be done in the many other buildings in town.
Exactly.
All right,
That
Bill,
was all, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman O'Brien, thank you for stepping in there. I know that the bulk of your time on the council, you've been diligently serving on the liaison committee. I was going to make sure that that's getting discussed there. And then, Danny, kind of to what you touched on, we're probably seeing the same thing with regards to the Board of Education reports that Building Needs Committee gets on a monthly basis. But it does look like more of the fixture damage is happening at Bunnell and Flood as opposed to Stratford High and Worcester. And so, maybe that's something that we're going to need to kind of track for trending and, just kind of, see what's going on with that. Obviously the commitment I've put into Stratford High, I'm very glad to hear that it's the quote unquote less damage of the two high schools, but nonetheless, it is a townwide problem that we're going to have to be, vigilant in addressing, across the board so that there's no, bad feelings due to one school getting singled out over another.
Alan, it's Bob DiLorenzo. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you know, or does anyone know on the call, if the Board of Education and Superintendent are involved with any disciplinary hearings? Those are hearings that happen with incidences like what Danny's talking about, or anything that might pop up. It was one thing that we did for about 2 years, but unfortunately, that was halted due to the pandemic. But found it to be very helpful. I don't know the cost of it, but it's definitely a situation where consequences were levied for students that were unruly.
No, Bob, we'll take that under advisement. I may kind of, Councilman O'Brien, when you next go to one of those liaison meetings, it might be interesting to find out when the last time there was an expulsion hearing. As Mr. DiLorenzo said, the last time I remember seeing an expulsion hearing on a Board of Ed agenda, and they do it as executive session items, but the last time I remember seeing one of those was before, March of 2020 when the pandemic hit. So that's another thing to look into. Thanks, Bob. All right, as we move our way through here, are there any other new topics or discussion to be brought up under new business? All right, hearing none, our next regular meeting will be back to Monday, August 1st at 5:30 p.m. Should anything happen during the course of summer work, just put this down in pencil. There's a potential special meeting that would be July 18th if needed. Item 9 is our motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously, and we are off the clock at 5:48. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your July.
Take care, everyone.
We staying on for building needs?
I was going to say, Aileen, do we need to disconnect and dial in, or are you just going to kind of cut the recording and restart it?
You're muted, Elaine.
I'm sorry. We're going to keep going. You have quorum, so you can call the meeting to order right now, Alan.
Excellent. Thank you, Aileen. Appreciate it. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Alan Llewellyn, temporary chairing the Building Needs Committee meeting for Councilman Ken Poisson, who is not available. I'm going to call us to order at 5:49 and entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from June 7th of 2022.
So moved.
Dan Senft, I'll second.
Are there any questions, comments, concerns with regards to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. That will bring us to item 3, ongoing items. Under that, item A1 is the Stratford High renovation project. As subcommittee chair, I'll give this report here. High school met immediately prior to this, had a fairly quick-paced 18, 20-minute meeting. We learned that the netting and the work on the fields, which was scheduled for the summer, is ongoing. We're anticipating getting to a point of having turners 100% built September, October, and probably within that September, October timeframe will be the last meeting of the subcommittee, and then remaining high school business and high school work will be taken up under the Building Needs Committee. That'll bring us to item 2, open work orders. We all had distributed, which seems to me to be a shrinking Board of Education work order list. Does anybody have any items of concern related to the work going on at the Board of Ed buildings?
Alan, it's Bob DiLorenzo. I do have one question. I'm not sure if Rich is on the call, Ruggiero. And I'm not sure if this falls under new business, but I've noticed some schools locally, New Haven Public Schools, Bridgeport, so forth, have actually looked into making sure doors were actually locked or doors were working where they are locked. Do we know from a safety perspective if our district has looked into that at all? And again, maybe that falls under new business or, something along those lines, but might be a good idea, especially being that other surrounding towns are doing it.
So I can't report specifically to any building right now, but I know that on an ongoing basis, if there are door and hardware issues, they do come up on our reports as carpentry items. And usually if they're related to exterior doors between Rich Ruggiero and Dan Wakeling, they get to them, fairly expeditiously, given their critical nature. Occasionally, if it's an older door and they got to wait for hardware or wait for parts, some of those items can linger for a while, but those are usually taken care of pretty quickly.
Yeah, okay. I was only bringing it up because of obviously the recent tragedies, and again, noticing other communities and towns doing it. So.
Yeah, no, and I've been on Building Needs for close to 10 years, so I remember going back to the time after Sandy Hook, there was a lot of effort and focus put into our exterior doors and making sure that they, were securable. We did have, lockability. I don't know if, Renee in Public Works can speak to anything that's been going on an ongoing basis, but I do know that those exterior door items rarely stay on the work order list very long.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, Alan, I'd have to concur that, obviously if there is an exterior door that isn't locking, we are on it extremely quickly. I know that they have key fobs and Sonatrol locking devices. In fact, our guys can't even get into the building without a custodian present to open the door. So I have no immediate concerns about doors not working and not being locked.
Okay,
Awesome.
good.
Thank
good.
you.
Great to see that we're all on the same page with that. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns in regards to open work orders on the school buildings? All right, hearing none, I'll move us along to item B. Item 1 is open work orders for the town buildings that are not at Booth Park. Again, that appears to be a dwindling list with a lot of kind of current items and not a lot of backlogs. Does anyone on the committee have any comments, concerns to bring up with regard to the town buildings? All right, hearing none, I'll move us along to item 2 under there for the Booth Park buildings. Dan Weakling, are you on the line with us? Or Renee, can you speak to the Booth Park work?
Yeah, Danny's not on. He's actually off today, so I'll speak to it. I know that we are doing some painting up there. We're painting the Americana building. We are having the signage when you enter into Booth Park, that green sign repainted. We are also working on getting quotes to have the roof of I call it the train building, redone. So we've been addressing the list that comes through the Booth Park Commission meeting with their immediate concerns of what needs repairs and whatnot. We've been addressing them.
All right, excellent, Renee. Thank you for the update. Greatly appreciated. Moves us to item 4. Are there any open items to discuss under new business?
Mr. Chairman, Dan Senft. So I brought this up earlier at the subcommittee for Stratford High School. My biggest concern is some of the vandalism that's been taking place at a lot of the schools and the amount of workload that's being put on our public works people to get some things resolved in the cost. So maybe Renee, if you could speak to what you guys have been going through for the last several months. And, I think we need to have some type of accountability to the amount of money that's been spent just on vandalism alone throughout our school systems, and then really try to come up with a solution on how we can handle this and better address this to make sure that there is accountability, but more importantly, to understand why this is being done and to eliminate these issues down the road. I mean, as a taxpayer in town, and just having to pay my tax bill just recently, there's a concern that money is being wasted by these kids, these individuals that are just running around doing what they want to do as far as damage is concerned. So, Renee, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a problem that started immediately as soon as the kids came back to school after COVID. I know it relates back to this TikTok challenge, and we, in the beginning of the year, were getting slammed with, all kinds of to the point where I think the schools they were like closing bathrooms down and like trying to keep the kids to maybe all of them just using like one bathroom. I mean, that's how bad it was getting. I mean, there were times where we would replace toilets or sinks and they'd immediately break it right away. And I'm like, well, okay, just leave it for a bit. They get no sink, if that's what they're going to do. Just recently, I want to say in the last week or two before school ended, a couple of sinks were ripped off the bathroom walls and the pipes were, came off the wall with it and were just pouring water onto the floor. I mean, beyond the money it's costing, these are porcelain sinks. These kids can get really severely injured when they break. God forbid if somebody gets cut on one, they will probably then turn around and sue the school in the town for their injuries. I know that I have been providing these work orders. I've been talking with Mike Henrik, I've been talking with Councilwoman Dancho, and we've been giving them photos. We've been telling the school system, Ruggiero's office, when you do see vandalism, we want you to open up a work order. You got to put in there that it's vandalism, some keywords so we know to search for them. Obviously, in the beginning, we didn't know this was going to be an epidemic. So, work orders were getting put in, but those keywords weren't getting tagged to it. So we were trying to go back and kind of research, how much damage was being done. But mostly we're seeing it, in the middle schools and the 2 high schools. And I know, Stratford High isn't experiencing the ripping off the walls, probably because they're a newer school and their kind of sink system is a bit different than the old porcelain ones that are in the other schools. But there is damage and it is time consuming and it does pull us away from doing other things. I would love if we could try and find a way to make the kids accountable. Maybe that's a deterrent, making the parents pay for the damage. If you can figure out which kids are doing it, that could be a deterrent. Maybe I'm hopeful that, September will come around and this will be forgotten and they won't kind of consistently do this next year. That would be great. But it is discouraging. And, I'm sure if taxpayers all knew of the problem that we were having, they'd all be just as upset as you are, Danny, because it's so disrespectful and it's costly. These sinks and stuff, this is not cheap.
No,
And the labor
no.
is cheap.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to explore this more and see if we can get some numbers, Renee, as far as overall damage due to vandalism, and bring it to us at our next meeting if possible, or the meeting after that. And then I'd like to also find out from the Board of Education how much of this is being taken care of by an offending student or their parents. So I think that's important for us to know. And when we're making these decisions, when we're looking at these open order reports, that's a significant amount of money that we go through each particular month and look at. And it just, it's really disconcerting to think that this is just widespread at this particular point in different schools. So I think we need to stay on top of this. And Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that we put this on the table for our next meeting.
All right, I'll work with Eileen and we'll write something up. I almost feel like maybe we should do this as kind of like under item A, do it like a number 3 and sort of, I don't want to put like, vandalism report, but, maybe do ongoing school building fixture maintenance or, something along those lines.
Sure.
'Cause it does seem like it's not kind of like a one-off. It does seem like, we've got an ongoing situation where, the schools are getting damaged. We are seeing the items come up now on the work order reports. So, between Eileen and Ken, when he gets back, we'll get this set up as an agenda item and try to get a little more active with tracking this on an ongoing basis.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, Renee.
Okay. Are there any other new business items to be brought forward for discussion? All right, hearing none. Item 5, next regular meeting, again, similar to Stratford High, will be Monday, August 1st, going back to Mondays.
If needed, if there's a high school special meeting on July 18th, I would imagine there'll be a special building needs committee meeting July 18th, but let's hope that's not necessary. And we all work our way through July and get to August. Under item 6, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Sempter. Second.
Second, Ron Zicky.
All right. Thanks, Ron. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and we are off the clock and adjourned at 6:03. Thanks again, everyone. Take care.